So yeah, it's nice to have you on. um, you disappeared for a while. Honestly, I wanted to see how you were doing. Um, I know a lot of people in the chat don't exactly know who you are. You kind of stopped posting for like a month or so now, right?
Yeah, it's been about a month.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that I know it's a sensitive thing. Hopefully, we could talk about it a little bit, but like you had a little bit of controversy going on. Um,
Yeah, sure.
so we don't have to talk about it too much. I know that on like a live stream, you had talked about how you basically you're venting your frustrations about like how the religion of Islam, targets LGBT people, and you got canceled for that. To me, I was a little confused why you would, because I think that there's an argument to be made. And honestly, I think if you made that argument against like Christian people in the United States, like you still have a fair argument. I mean, generally
Mhm.
speaking, religion is rough when it comes to LGBT people. So I'm very surprised that you got like kind of canceled for that. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I would say I'm a little surprised as well. I think one of the biggest points of contention here is that I did only talk about Islam, you know, and
Hmm.
people felt that I was targeting that unfairly, even though I've spoken about all religions
Sure.
equally in negative taste. And I would say every single Abrahamic religion is dangerous to LGBT people in principle. But, this is the internet. It's the internet, and on the internet, people have a mob mentality,
Hmm.
and whoever's voice is the loudest is the one that wins.
It's true. It's true, man. And you know what? Even I would say that like modern societies is what makes religion less toxic. And even in like our modern society, there's still toxicity to it with Christianity. And like I know in more like we'll call Middle Eastern countries, like they're not as progressed as us, and it's generally more that's the interaction between really all, not even just LGBT people, but even like women is much more aggressive. And if you bring that up, it's like you're a bad person. But I don't know. It just seemed rather unfair, like the whole thing, and
I
especially something so small. I don't know.
I think where the biggest issue lies is in that Muslim people are an oppressed group,
Sure,
and that conversation is separate from issues in Islam that target LGBT people. But it's hard to have those conversations and make that delineation. These are two separate conversations. I'm having this one right now while acknowledging this other part in our world exists.
for sure. Yeah, and it's like I guess it comes back to like intersectionality. I'm very new to the idea of intersectionality, but like it kind of makes sense. But like part of it too is like a little bit of that like kind of woke progressive like group, and like listen, I agreed with you.
Yeah.
I it is, and I agreed with you, and even I got a little bit of shit. But like people typecast me as like an angry conservative, so I really can't be canceled for any type of bigotry. Like let's be honest here. Um,
Mhm.
but like the best argument somebody made was like, hey, the I guess the Quran is it. I don't want to be wrong, but it doesn't actively fight against LGBT people. It says like we don't agree with it, but like I get it, but still,
Yeah.
a lot of the people are weaponizing the message, and God forbid, But like you said, it's all about like they're another oppressed group in the United States, and because of that, even Jeff Goldblum almost got canceled by saying something on I think RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea. No.
He mentioned something, they were in like on they were on the show, and somebody was like doing I guess like an Islam or something theme, and he's like, hey, isn't it like a little bit ironic since they don't really agree with your lifestyle? And he got a lot of shit for it, but it's like you know the- but if you had
I would
it's,
say
it's
I
crazy.
would say Christian conservatives don't agree with my lifestyle either, and I feel safe saying that.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's crazy. Like if you speak out against Christianity, like you're a hero and a savior, But like if you talk about something else, all of a sudden, and like listen, I would still agree with you that Christianity doesn't, especially very traditional Catholic and Christian people, they don't like LGBT people. But that's
Mhm.
like an okay, you're safe saying that. It's
And
rough.
it's important to me to make the distinction that they think that because of what is in the religious text they follow.
Yeah,
And I've heard so many times, "Oh, it only says it once or twice." Like, how many times does it need to repeat itself
yeah.
to be like, "Yeah, we don't fuck with gays"? I mean,
Honestly,
is
though,
it 6 times? Is it once a chapter? I don't know
yeah, right.
the
Like,
number.
what's the number of times that it has to say like, hey, we don't really like gay people. And what
Yeah,
I find interesting? Do you know about the whole Danelli or Daniel J situation?
I don't know.
Okay, so you might remember him. He's like the young black kid. He had like a little bit of braided hair, where he would react. He would just do facial reactions, And then there
Hmm.
were some trans people who like they would show the befores and then the afters, and he would go from like a smile to like a flat face. So it was like a
I
face of
seem to
like,
remember that.
yeah, it's like a face of shock. And like, I defended him saying that it was like a joke. Um, and people were like, no, but it's about the people who weaponize the message and like were acting transphobic. And like, if you apply that to this, where like as the religious text would be his face to the people weaponizing it, the LGBT people canceled him off the app. They got 7 of his accounts banned. And then yet,
Hmm.
when it comes to even if it's it's the way that they interpret the message. And in this case, though, they railed the shit out of you. So you know,
Yeah, I got my fair share of getting railed. I was like, damn, I thought I got railed enough already.
yes, yeah, right.
And I've never ever understood how we might sound to other people. We being the social justice, very far
Right.
left, liberal people. I never knew how crazy we sounded.
Until you kind of like
You
experience,
know?
until you misspoke, and then you kind of
Yeah.
experience and that's like the worst part, man, because even if you're 100% wrong, which I don't think you are, but even if you are, in cancel culture, there's just no room for education.
Hmm.
And it's like I even saw your videos. You're like, listen, guys, I misspoke this on the other thing, and it's like nobody cared. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. There's no
Yeah.
room for education. And what's mind blowing is like there are real homophobe, or excuse me, real Islamic or Islamophobic people out there who like
Hmm.
really hate Muslim people, and like people, nobody like these progressives don't care. But when it comes to somebody like you're somebody that's like right here, this is how close your values align, and let's see who can sound the most woke by going after somebody that's like 2 feet away from me rather than the guy that's really pushing Islamophobia. And it's just not, it's
Hmm.
like cannibalistic, honestly.
Yeah, I never saw the woke Olympics for what it is before this. I was the woke Olympics. I was like, I'm the fucking most woke gay guy on this app, and all of you are gonna shut the fuck up. And I was like, wait, that's like not how we can talk to people. I
No,
just
right? Yeah, no.
you become desensitized. You become desensitized that other human beings are also on their TikTok app.
Yeah, and they're human beings. Though, but like I give you the benefit of the doubt because like I think you did too. We both blew up during the
Hmm.
what are we gonna call it? Like I guess the coronavirus and like the whole George Floyd scandal. Well, not scandal. Like that's not the right word. The George Floyd situation, and it
Yeah.
was a really really heavy, intense point in the app. Like people were
Yeah.
home, they weren't able to work, they were angry, they were outraged, and like even me, I was on fire with a lot. Like I was, even I was too intense with my takes, like toxic, and like toxicity was all inside the app at that point, and it was just like a mess. So I wouldn't feel too bad about being the woke guy back then, because everybody sucked during. I
Yeah.
feel like everybody was awful during that whole point. Everybody was so riled up, and they had too much fucking
Yeah.
time on their hands, and that
Yeah, and
was
it was
the
the question was, who can we call out? Who can we make look dumb? Who can
yep,
have the best 12-second clapback video?
yep.
And that was what was happening everywhere.
That's what it is, and
And there
then
was some great shit that happened. There was some great movements, some great advocacy, some great learning that happened. But with that came this huge wave of toxicity and attacks that
oh yeah.
I feel bad for participating in. I regret
Oh, I
participating
get
in
that.
that.
Listen, I feel bad for participating in like the opposite side as well. It's the degree. You
Mhm.
know what it is? It's like I don't think either of our perspectives were inherently bad. It was the way in which we carried them out that makes that's the way I would classify them more than anything else. Um, but
Absolutely.
it was such a shame. I think like the only good thing that came out about that was like people got TikTok to stop like actively suppressing black voices. Like what a shit show, man. What the hell? Like that, like looking back, man, like as time goes on, you really see how very little like these apps really care about real issues
Mhm.
in general, because if you weaponize your follower base enough, you can get them to cancel anybody. But like there was a whole situation where myself and other big creators were trying to get rid of like a child predator on the app, and like they kept banning our posts and muting us, and it was insane. It was insane, man. Like the way that they'll react. And now they have advertisers. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you've been back for a while, but there's advertisers involved now in TikTok. So like
I haven't opened the app in a month.
oh, well, good for you. But now you can like monetize your content.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so you can make a little bit of money every day. So You know, it's interesting.
I was there for that. So my, like, last few days were me monetizing, and it was kind of funny. I was never gonna say this, but now that I'm here, I'm gonna say it. I made a little bit of extra cash off of being canceled because I
Oh,
had
did
a
you?
lot more views.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, listen, as long as as long as you get through it. I mean, you know what the thing is if you had like, I'm sure that there had to be like a level of like mental stress for you. Like that's probably I imagine
Mhm,
why you took the left. But like if you hadn't left, you probably you could have walked through that cancel. That's the toxicity of cancel culture is like they beat the shit out of you mentally,
mhm,
and
exactly,
but
and I didn't know that, and now I do, and it was really, really hard. And then when I stepped away, I realized there's an entire life outside of my phone, and I was getting so entrenched in this virtual world that we all were. We all our lives, for the first time in human history, we had a life on our phone that was more
mhm.
prominent than the life in our surroundings. And I think it takes a mental toll, and I don't think any of us realized that mental toll until we were months into it.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, you're absolutely right. You get so like stuck up, like caught up in it. Even like again, even me, and I'm an older guy. I'm 30, so like you'd think I would be immune to it, but even me, man, like I'll have my moments. You have your ups and downs. It's nuts. Just being on this in general, social media shit in general is just brutal, man. It beats the hell out of you. But how have you been handling for the last month? Because you've been gone for a while. How have you been doing
Mhm.
personally?
I've been doing, I think, really well. I think leaving the echo chamber I created and leaving the toxicity was really beneficial. I just started my first job, so I've been working
Oh
for the
yeah.
last month.
What are you doing now?
It's going amazing.
If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I'm a consultant for a native hospital.
Oh,
So
good for
I'm
you.
back home working with my people and
Oh, right, in Alaska, right?
fixing healthcare in some way.
That's good. That's funny. I was like, where do you mean? Like now I get it. Alaska, of course.
Yeah, back home. And I've been just focusing on my real relationships in real life. And it's been really great. It's been so great, I don't know if I'll go back or not. I'm still I didn't know how many followers I had until I saw your
Oh
screen
yeah,
showing
the
my
thing on there. We got like almost 800K, right? That's solid. That's.
I lost 70,000.
Oh, did you? That's
Yeah,
ridiculous to me.
I know.
You know what? And like, I hate bringing it up, but like, Joe Rogan was like the fucking nail in the coffin for you. I think. Uh,
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Joe Rogan is? Really?
No.
He virtue signaled the shit out of you, man.
Oh, is that the one guy that got like a million views on one of my posts?
Blonde hair. I think he actually is gay. He
Yeah.
just came
Oh
out.
God, that guy.
Even you don't like him, bro. He's a fucking.
Yeah.
Me and him right now. It's such a shame. It's so much to go into. I don't even like talking about the guy, but like basically I was talking about the Predator before, and like I kind of spearheaded that, and then like I don't know if you know who Mr. Bruno is. He's got like the big glasses. He's a really great guy.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
he picked it up too because he was a close friend of the guy that his name was Gemini Official. He was a peppermint guy, if you remember that guy.
Mhm.
He like pushed it too. He's like, he used to be friends with him, and he really put it out there. And there was a point that Joe Rogan never talked about it. Nobody cared. And then it came out that like Joe Rogan had a conversation with one of his like friends in like a Discord mod, and like they slandered the shit out of me. And one of the things they said was like, "Oh, it's really easy to fight against pedophilia." And like it set me the fuck off. And then it was such a thing.
That's
It
insane.
set me off. I got enraged. I went through like the whole thing, and then he came out and was like, "Well, I had an experience when I was younger where I was groomed," and I was like, then at that point, like it's hard to say anything, but it's like, listen, man, like so many people are so involved in this, and there's so many female survivors, and like they're all coming forward, and like for you to stay quiet is fine, even though you're in this space where you should be talking about it, but to
Mhm.
actively diminish it, it took us a month, and we got him banned off the app. Um, but it was nuts. The whole story's out of control, and I just lost all respect for the guy. He's just like a fucking
Mhm.
virtue signaling dick. He has 4.5 million followers now, though.
Wow.
Who would have
That's
thought?
insane.
It is insane.
That's fucking insane.
It is because you know what happened when things calmed down. Like commentators like myself, we kind of stopped. Like, what are you going to talk
Mhm.
about? He kept going. He just started making shit up. There was a Photoshop edit of like Jeanette McCurdy. I think that's her name from
Mhm.
where she got made to look fatter, and he's like, "This isn't appropriate because she has an eating disorder." And it's like, dude, it's a Photoshop edit of some kid pushing a meme around. And it's like, dude, there's bigger issues. It's like that was his content.
And that's what's hard is I saw that I did similar things. Not similar. I feel like I always have tried to back my shit up with data, with, when you kind of came for me a little bit back in the day, I was like, I took it to heart and I was like, okay, you know what? I do need to back up what I'm saying with action items. Like, I do need to include some relevant data. And I've tried to do that, but I've noticed the people around me and every once in a while myself will just cling on to something because there's fucking nothing else to talk about because we've beaten
Yeah,
everything else in
yep,
the fucking ground.
yep.
And it's like, okay, well, this is this thing, and this is this horrible thing, and
No, I
this is why it's
understand
bad.
completely. I got caught up in all that, man. Like I wasn't innocent. You just start railing against like, there's like a lot of younger. It's usually like women who make like these ridiculous takes. The whole kill all men thing, and like I got caught up in all that shit too. The lucky thing for me though was that like once things died down, I was very very fortunate and like the ability for me to push off from TikTok onto Twitch. So like that's what I'm
Mm,
streaming on right now. And I've had like tremendous success because of like all like I have incredibly like very like it's tight knit community of like incredibly loyal like followers that support me, and so like I've been focusing on that. Like this is now my career. Um, I quit my job. I'm a full time Twitch streamer and like YouTuber. I know it's crazy, but like I'm
that's
doing
amazing.
it's crazy. So like I was able to take a step back from the space, so I didn't have a bunch of like silly takes. So
Uh-huh.
very fortunate of me, very lucky of me that I didn't go
Well,
too
I'm proud of
crazy.
you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
And I'm not nearly you know what? Because I don't know, you haven't consumed my content in a while, so I don't know what you're where you're at with what I left off. But I'm not nearly as I wouldn't call myself homophobic or transphobic, but like I'm not nearly as toxic when it comes to like my call out content anymore. So like
I'm happy to hear that.
because you know what, I don't know where we last let off with. I know the last thing with you, of course, was the whole situation where you get canceled. I don't know exactly where we left, where you left off with my content
I
exactly.
stopped after all the fucking Papa Gut people were in my comment section
Like
back in
how
June.
Papa
That's what
has
I said.
spoken, right? Yeah, yeah, I can
Papa's
understand that.
spoken. I was like, all right, this is enough of this.
I tried so hard to get them to not be toxic. I really did try. I
We
have like
can't control it.
it's
We
so
can't.
hard. I've had like 6 videos like you guys have to fucking stop it.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's like I love a lot
Well,
of them, but some of them take it too far.
I didn't realize how much I could weaponize my followers either until I would just be talking, like just talking about something someone said and disagreeing with it. And all of a sudden, I had to go to their comment section before I posted that and be like, "No one spread hate," or else they would
Yeah.
be they're like, "Fuck you, die," and I'm like, "No, like y'all
Yeah,
are insane.
it's
What the fuck?"
not, dude. It's nuts, and it's like even people who aren't even disagreeing with you. Like sometimes I'll duet a video. I'm like, oh, cool, that's dope, and they're like, oh, Papa spoken, fuck you, and it's like, what the hell? It's like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here? It's so toxic, and it's like I would say that it's like of their followers, it's not a lot of them, but like
Mhm,
1% of 800,000, right? Is
mhm.
8,000 fucking little assholes running around. It's just nuts, man. It's
You
nuts.
have to be so careful, so careful.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember when I came back, my views were getting lower because I was no longer calling people out. I was like, I moved away from my old content. I
Hmm.
was like, I'm not calling people out. I'm not going to give hot takes. I'm just going to talk about shit I think is important.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like views down,
Yeah,
views dead.
nobody
And I
gives a
was like,
shit. It's
damn,
that's what
damn, you only like the drama.
they do.
Because
People are very some of these people are very toxic. It's insane, and like, you try to do normal content and it doesn't really hit. And there was a period where I was basically just fucking putting up Twitch clips on my TikTok. I was like, fuck this. Like, who cares anymore? And then I actually got permanently banned for a week. Or no, a day. Okay, I got
oh,
for a day.
who'd you piss off?
Okay, so great question. It's so funny that you know who it is. So I pissed. There's 3 different content creators. Funny enough, despite all my content, I've only received 1 week ban before getting banned. Insane, right? No, never
Yeah.
suspended. You'd think I'd have more against it, but basically the first time I got my 1 week ban was against like a black creator, and basically what I said was he called some young conservative girl like like a bigot and like an inbred idiot for not understanding systemic racism. So I was like, hey, this doesn't help your educational content by saying you're like just
Mhm.
defaming her for not like she's just ignorant and doesn't understand systemic racism. And he came after like, oh, you're white splaining me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, then he
Mhm.
had like my father was telling me that like he had his Discord like mass report me. So I got 1 week banned. I didn't really care that much, and honestly, I was like, you know what? Who cares? Like, this is this guy's fucking problem. He's never gonna be anything. After that, I was going against another girl. Your mama's breath stank. I don't know if you know who that is. And this other non-binary person. And for the girl, I went after her for the kill all men narrative, and then for the non-binary individual, they were like, "Oh, straight people are a disease." So I made a joke, and then like the two of them, got me banned for a day. They reversed the ban. They kept it on a week ban. Then they took away stitches. So all in one shot,
Oh,
and you know me, I'm literally the only fucking thing I do is stitch. So at that
Stitch.
point,
You're
now,
Stitch
yeah,
King.
yeah, stitch. That's probably why they took it away. Like, God, these guys are being assholes. They brought it back, but so at that point, I was like, I came back, and then, you know,
Kept going.
yeah, slowly, and then I actually got verified.
You got
I
verified?
got verified. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Go. Yeah, I'm actually 1.4 million verified right now. So
Damn.
yeah, I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm surprised because I am
You
not very.
passed my ass up.
Yeah. I'm not very politically correct too. I'm so surprised that I got a solid anything. So I'm happy with that. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool though. I'm surprised I got verified. Honestly, mind blowing. Would have thought.
Yeah, they're just giving it to anyone these days, I
Yeah,
guess.
that. Oh my god, honestly, there are bigger creators than me that are like, I can't get verified. I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand. Why the fuck did they give
I
it to
didn't
me?
do this. I don't know.
I don't
But
understand.
that's exciting. It's exciting news. And have you changed the way you address other creators after things have happened and things have changed, or do you think it's still the same way?
No, it's certainly different. Let's see. So I'd say that like I had a decent amount of content that wasn't like that toxic, at least towards more of the end. I'd say for a couple of months. But like that never picked up. I don't think people know this. Like,
Mhm.
but during the George Floyd thing, nobody really saw it. But there was I got some like there's a few videos where people are like, "Oh, I'm so disgusted by I forget the young girl's name." There was like a younger girl, and she was like made a video about stepping on a flag, and people were like, "Look at this, pop," and I'm like, you know what, it upsets me because like I'm like very patriotic, but then it's like, why do people feel the need to do that? And I said, I had like a whole thing, like I talked about this shit all the time. I was like, the reason people step on the flag is because they don't feel like America's worked for them the way that we feel it worked for us. I've always
Mhm.
talked about progressive shit. I talk about universal basic income. I talked about that. Um, I talked about how during the George Floyd thing, I didn't think that it was racially motivated, but it was definitely like indicative of police brutality. And like those videos never really hit. It was just like when I would go, hi, like make fun of like a gay person, honestly, or something. And like,
Mhm.
and that's what would hit. But no, it's gotten like I do less harsh call out content now. I do more
Should we
educate.
start some fake beef? I'll do some gay
If you
shit, you'll
want,
make fun of
if
me,
you
and then
want to
I'll be
come
like,
back, if you want to come back, I guess I could help you out. Uh,
"No, it's
I've been
okay."
just making jokes again, and like doing posting some of my Twitch clips up of like me talking about like different topics, and I do a lot of political stuff. Like the other day, I had a conversation with like a young girl about systemic racism and whether you can be racist towards white people. So like I've been branching off into that. I covered like the debates and stuff. So it's a lot different than you're probably used to seeing.
Mhm.
So it's very much different now, but certainly less toxic. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. So where do you stand? Who do you think you'll vote for? Do you know? Can you share that?
At this, no, I do. At this point, I'm probably voting for Biden. The first election, the first debate was like rubbed me the wrong way. There was, I
Mhm.
think, what really got me was the fact that he didn't. That Trump was like danced around, calling out like denouncing white nationalism, and like he has done it before, of course, but it just was uncomfortable that he did that. And then he was talking about getting rid of like racial insensitivity training, and that bothered
Mhm.
me. And I know, and like after that I looked into critical race theory and everything. I know like that there are aspects of critical race theory that the implementation can be like rather anti-white, but like still, man, I don't know, it bothered the shit out of me. So, and then after the
Mhm.
vice presidential debates, I was like, you know what, like, because Biden can't articulate himself, and neither can Trump, honestly. But
Okay.
you know, Camila and Pence, they can both articulate themselves pretty well. But I was really siding more with like the ideas of you know Biden, to be honest with you. And like at the end of the day, it's two shitty options. But you know, maybe that'll change. But right now, it's Biden, honestly.
I see. I'm voting for Trump personally.
Oh really? Oh really? For a second, I was like, really? No, there's no way. There's no way. Well, you live in
No.
Alaska, so I was like, maybe you really
Yeah.
would. Who knows? Maybe you really would.
No, but everyone in my family pretty much.
Yeah, is it conservative up there? Yeah, right.
It's pretty red. Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
super
yeah.
red state. I think we're turning purple. I think soon we'll be purple. Every year we're inching closer to electing a federal Democrat representative.
Right. Yeah, it's like that in
Um,
Texas too. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, on the way, on the way. But you know, and even I've realized after stepping away from TikTok, it's like Democrat doesn't equal good,
Yeah, and you
you
start to really
know,
learn how fucked
and
up this shit is, man.
mhm, and Republican doesn't equal bad.
No,
But for me, I have a hard time with Trump supporters in particular, but
I
I'm
can
learning to
imagine.
be graceful.
There you go. Yeah, see, I'm in a very moderate area, and like you know, there's also an argument. I'm like, well, you know, I'm not fully straight, but like I'm basically a straight white dude. Like I look exactly like a straight white guy, and I don't really hold on to my
Mhm,
identities at all. So like I see a lot of Trump supporters, and out here, Trump supporters, they're not like I love Trump. They're all every one of them is like he's so dumb and he doesn't know how to speak, but I like his policies. And like I
mhm.
can get that because I don't like Trump's policies as a whole, but they're not horrible. Kind of like his economic policies. It's his social skills that like really push like I think very divisive, very a lot of divisiveness, and that's where people come
I
from.
think yeah, they're so divisive, people don't even look at his policies because 'cause they're just like, "This is fucking insane,"
Yeah, no, right. And
you
like
know?
unfortunately conservatives look too much at like I don't care about the social thing, but then again, you have two choices and it's not great. So that's why we need like ranked voting or something.
Something different, this is
Yeah,
insane. I'm like, "How did we end up here?" I mean,
it's bad.
everyone Joe Biden was, like, the one everyone was making fun of, and he was doing horrible, and it's like, "What happened?
Hmm.
How did we get here?"
It's honestly though, like I really don't like. I Sanders is a nice guy. I don't think he would have been able to pull it off at the end.
Yeah.
Um, it's really just too easy to scare people with socialism.
Mhm, it
um,
really is.
and I really don't think he would have necessarily been able to grab it. Um, Biden was probably the better
Yeah.
choice, but I think that we need like a ranked voting system. Like it's kind of we're past the time where like two people can sit up on stage and argue. Like we need like 5, 10 different people because you just have we need more like representation from different types of like ideas instead of just two old white guys up on the stage yelling at each other.
Can you give me context for ranked voting system? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so I'm not super educated on it, but it's basically like you have a certain number of people that would be on the stage at the end. So like let's say we had 5 different parties with 5 different people, and then you would vote, you would rank your voting. So instead of being like I want this person to win, you'd be like okay, I want this person as my number 1, then you go from 1 to 5. So and then the person with the highest rank wins rather than the person with the most votes. So if, you know, everybody voted one guy at like the second rank, he would win even if the other people voted somebody else at the top rank because it's all about your accumulated rank. So it's about what's best for
Mhm.
like the country, and it allows more ideas to go on the stage. I mean, honestly, I think like the electoral college is really bullshit. I also think popular voting isn't necessarily the best idea, you know, because it still doesn't defeat the two-party system.
Mhm.
So you know, I think that's where we're at not at this point.
I definitely wanna look into that. I haven't heard of it, but I like the idea of that.
Yeah, I would look into that more because I think it would be far less divisive, honestly, than what we got going on
Yeah.
now. So
You know, I'm sure I'll be in a position where I can make that change in America one day.
yeah, sure. I mean, maybe you never know. You know, you took a break from TikTok. Maybe you'll come back as like
Maybe.
maybe you could run for Congress or something, or some kind of like political part in your state or something. You never know, man.
Maybe one day.
You
Maybe
know,
one day. I wanna get my degrees done first. It's the
that's a
big
good
focus
idea.
right now.
That's a good idea. I don't know. TikTok is like shaky anyway. It's shaky, so you probably
I
get
was
out at a
like,
good time.
"Damn, why didn't the bitch just get deleted?"
Oh, what your app? Oh, the whole app? Yeah, right. Because then, like, if you look at it again, you get like obsessed with just like scrolling through it every once in a while.
I know, that's why I'm so scared to open it again because I know I'm just gonna jump back into that TikTok rabbit hole, and I don't want it again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't even, you know, don't even do it. If you ever do, just make a small, like a new account, and don't even like scroll on your main account. You know, maybe like
Mhm.
you won't be like I got to make something. I
Yeah.
don't even know what the reception would be. Oh my god.
Do you get that feeling? Do you know that feeling when you're like, I have to make something right now, and you have just nothing? Your brain is just like,
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, kinda. Because the way I do it is I just scroll for something to play off of, and I'm like, I just
oh, okay.
can't get. I was like, I got nothing. You get so caught up in it. Yeah, you have your good and your bad nights. Again, fortunately, like I'm on
Mhm,
here a decent amount of time, so like I don't have to worry about being popular as much anymore on TikTok.
mhm.
That's the good thing. So
That's good.
that's not too
I
bad.
thought about moving more into a YouTube realm, but I
It's
don't know. We'll see.
it's not a terrible idea. You just got to figure out what the hell you're gonna do. It was rough at
Yeah.
first. I'm still in like a rough spot. Like I
Uh-huh.
have because you get a lot of people from TikTok that follow you on YouTube just to
Mhm.
follow you, and they don't necessarily consume your content. So like I
Mm.
have almost 100,000 YouTube subscribers, which that means I get like a little plaque soon, which is cool. But like I'll get an average like 10K views a video, unless it's like a
Mm.
pop. Like if I talk, like when I talk about like the situation with Gemini, that's the Gemini official. He was the predator. Like those were big videos. Which is funny enough, I don't even want to cover it. I don't know. Like I wanted to raise awareness, but that shit's like not to be all woe is me. That shit's stressful covering that kind of
Mhm.
like real shit. It's not like bullshit TikTok drama. Like it's some real heavy shit, and it really
Yeah,
takes a lot out of you. It's crazy. Who would have thought?
absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. There was a time during the George Floyd protest where every tag I had, every single mention, every single comment was like, "Can you cover this? Can you cover this?" It was like
Yeah,
murder, kidnapping, oh, my friend's is suicidal, like everything, and it was like,
it's very
"Shit,
overwhelming. Yeah, no,
this
all
is
of a sudden
insane."
you become like that person that's supposed to cover like all super heavy topics.
Yeah.
And like it gets rough because also you don't want to just cover it. You want to make sure you're educated on it, and to make sure that
Mhm.
you're. It's already a hard enough decision to make whether you're going to talk about something, and then you have to look into it to make sure like that what you're putting out there is accurate, so that you don't mislead people. And then it's just like you get so warped up in these like different situations, it just fucking fucks you up.
Overall, would you say you're satisfied with your decision to start TikToking?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like to quit my
Yeah.
job, of
You
course.
quit your job
I
and
hated my job, man. It's such a shitty job. I don't. Well, TikTok's cool. I love this. This is great. But yeah, I'm definitely happy about it. I'm trending in a
what did you
nice.
do before?
I was a cleaning manager for a bus company. So I ran like a cleaning crew, and like the job itself wasn't bad. I worked outside; it was fine.
Mhm.
But and the pay was decent. Like I made like a solid $50,000 a year. Like it was okay, but like the company was really shitty. It was such a scummy
Mm.
company, and like they were screwing me around. They took away 2 weeks. I've been working there for 10.5 years before I quit, and they took away 2 weeks of my vacation. They gave me like a promotion, but like they treated me like total dog shit in the new department. So I came back. That's when they took away my vacation. And what really was like the straw was that my uncle worked there as well, and like he passed due to the coronavirus.
Mhm.
And when that happened, the boss, like the head of the department, never said a word to me. And I was like, Jesus, man, like this is a guy who worked for you for like 12 years. And like he was the head of like the road supervisors, whatever. And he was like a really good worker, not a single word. It was like, wow. Like I called him because my uncle's wife my aunt wanted me to call him to like let him know what happened at the hot. Never called me back. I'm like, Jesus, like this is what you think of people. Like fuck me, because like
Wow.
I'm not a big deal, but like my uncle was like he was a prominent figure, and like not a single word. I'm like, you know what, man, fucked up. And then also during the riots, there were protests by us, and what really pissed me off was that there was one time I had to bring over some like old beat up buses for the police to use, as like I guess in case they got shot or whatever. And like I remember the police officers telling me, he asked me, he's like, "You made sure you took the cameras out, right?" I'm like, "That's uncomfortable." I was like,
Yeah.
"That's fucked up. You want me to make sure to took the cameras out? Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Like that's not right." you know so it's like all this fucking shady bullshit really got to me, so I was lucky that I could pop out and do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Those sound like 2 really horrible instances, and I'm sure you have,
Yeah.
like, probably hundreds of more since you're there
Oh
for 10
yeah.
years. I mean,
Yeah,
damn.
I was
I'm
thinking
I'm
about.
really glad you're able to get out.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking about I should have wrote a letter to like about it to like the head of the company, but whatever, it is what it is. So
Do it. Come on, blast him on this while we're talking about not
yeah,
blasting
maybe,
people. Take
maybe
him down.
I forgot I was gonna write a letter that was like this is my experience, my personal experience, and then here's like my professional experience here, and like
Mhm.
but I totally forgot because once I got out, I was like happy, it's like I
Yeah.
totally forgot to drag the fuck out of them on the way out. But
Well, now you can really drag the fuck out of
I
them if you
guess,
decide to.
yeah, I could just go on here and be like, "Hey guys, here's a TikTok." Nobody would care. That's one of the ones that'll get like 2 views. Nobody will give a shit.
Yeah.
Views are weird
Isn't it
nowadays too.
crazy how at some point it's like, "Oh, damn, I only got 80,000 views."
Yeah, now if you came
Wait a
back,
second.
if
Wait a
you came
second.
back now, it's even worse. It is
Really?
it's awful. So
Oh my
they
god.
did an algorithm shift, and what they did was it's for advertisers. So it's very heavily focused on dances and songs and stuff, and these videos hit slower now, much slower now too, and the priority system is really intense. So
Mhm.
you got there's this one girl, I don't know if you knew her, like know of her. Her name is Bella Poach or something. But like she got famous for doing like a song and just wiggling her head, and like that's what hits now. And so like videos hit slow, and I'm in low priority, so maybe that's part of it. But like I'm telling you, like it could take you'll start and you'll maybe get 50K in a day, and then after a week you'll be up at maybe like a couple 100,000. It's really
Mhm.
nuts, and part of it too is because people are simply not on the app as much anymore, because like they're
Mhm.
fucking working, and TikTok, people are on Instagram
Transient.
more again. Yeah, I think people are on like more Instagram. They got pushed off on there once they heard Trump was going to ban it. They're like, I'll go to
Yeah.
Instagram.
I mean, it's been so turbulent with all of the toxicity, all of the fighting. Like, I think all of us probably even have a little bit of trauma with it at this point
Maybe.
of like the insane emotional energy we put into this fucking content.
Yeah. For what, man? And like
For what?
it's crazy because like 1.3 mil on fucking or a million on TikTok is like 50,000 on other
Yeah.
platforms. You know what I mean? Like this,
Mhm.
it's because people just scroll through and go, "Oh, I liked that video," and then they'll never look at you again.
Yeah.
It's
And
fucking nuts.
there's no way to have, I mean, unless you go to like the followed scroll through, which no one fucking presses ever.
No, right?
Like,
But you know
who
what's
presses the
funny?
followed?
It's funny because I feel like maybe some people do. Maybe people really, because I never do, but maybe people go through their followed. I
Well,
don't, not me.
you probably have these followers too where sorry, I just knocked on my shit, I got excited.
Nuts.
Those followers that are there right when you post every
Oh
fucking
yeah, the
time, and it's like,
OGs.
"What the fuck? This
Yeah,
is insane."
all of them are in the chat right now. They're like all. I don't know how they get to it so quick. It's nuts though. I mean, I love it. I love every one of
Yeah,
my followers, but they're like boom, first like 15 seconds. I'm
yeah.
like Jesus, on fire, man.
I'm
You
like,
guys are
"Damn, I haven't even
magical, huh?
refreshed it yet."
Yeah. These guys are magical. I love them. Um, but yeah, I get that. Maybe those people like actually go through the following page. That might be what they do.
Mhm.
Who knows?
It must be it. Ask them. Can you ask your OGs?
Yeah. Do you guys sit on the follow page or the for you page? They give you most of the most recent content. Yeah. Okay. Oh, they get it. You get an email notification. What? No
What?
way.
I didn't
Oh,
know that
they
was a thing. I didn't know TikTok had post
no. A lot of them are
notifications.
saying both. Like sometimes they scroll the for you page and the following page. Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh,
All right.
well, there you go. The more you know.
Yeah. Right. That's interesting. I wouldn't have ever thought. But I just started following people back now.
Mhm.
So I follow back a few other bigger creators, and then I did like I got partnered on Twitch too. So when I did
Okay.
that, I was like, everybody who's here right now, I'm gonna follow you back on TikTok. So I did for 45 minutes. I was sitting here following people back.
It didn't give you the, that thing you followed too many people thing?
No, I didn't even know there was a thing. I follow like 300 people now. I went from following like 40
Oh,
people to like 300 in a day. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
that's nice.
It's cool. Because that's one of the rewards for like hanging out. I don't like to charge for things like that, but it's like if you have enough
Mhm.
channel points, they call it. You just get channel points as you watch. I'll follow you back. So I just made it free for like a literal 2 minutes, and like I got 300 requests.
That's great.
It's
A lot of the people who stayed commenting a lot and had good comments and good thoughts on all my posts, I would follow back and just chat with them, be like, "Hey, like, you always have good shit to say. What's up?"
yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's nothing wrong with that. I end up like fucking I don't know. Sometimes my followers will hit me up and be like, "Hey, Pop, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that. Like I'm having this," and I'll try to
Mhm.
respond to like those. There's a lot of young people who have like some
Yeah.
mental, like they'll have mental health issues, especially with um during the the pandemic, which we're still going through, but like during quarantine when it was really intense, it's like hard for a lot of people to like exist without social interaction. And so I try to like
Mhm.
message back like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, you okay?" kind of a thing. So, you get a lot of those, and then there's some people that are like, "Can you please remove your video?" Oh, probably not.
Yeah, every once in a while, it's like the "kill yourself, asshole." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
I don't
Now
get.
that's what my all of my DMs look like that now, so
Oh, do the. Oh, well,
it's insane.
from progressives, right?
Yeah, from
Yeah. Oh
progressives,
my
it's like,
god.
I got a few that were like, "You're right, come here and I'll kill you, faggot,"
Oh my
or
god.
like, "You're a fucking piece of shit," or one I got yesterday when I opened up your DMs, I try
How?
not to open them up. One
Still?
yesterday it said, yeah, still yesterday it said the best part of 2020 is finding out your Islamophobic piece of shit ass is not on TikTok anymore. It's like,
Jesus, man. People hold a grudge. Oh, so
damn.
that's why you weren't really answering
Yeah,
messages on. Completely understandable. Completely understandable. I never even thought of it like that because I get some hate, but like really not a lot. Honestly, I don't get a
I
whole lot.
think that one guy with a whole bunch of followers is what
Joe
did it
Robe.
because that sent. I had like 10,000 DMs of like "fuck you, piece of
Really?
shit, die." Like
So that's
it was
from Joe
insane.
Robe. You're saying?
It must be. I mean, his was the biggest post.
Wow.
I mean,
Because he
so
blames me for getting his mom doxxed because my followers are so toxic, and I'm like, bro, yours are bad too. And
well,
here it
there's no one
is.
else who would have weaponized 10,000 people for.
There we go. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, and I mean, we all have
It's everybody's followers are
all
toxic.
yeah.
There's
It's
that
because
there's
yeah.
that aspect of them that's all. There's like that little bit of them that are toxic, but it doesn't take a lot. If you have 1 million
Mhm.
followers and like 0.1% are fucking toxic, it's gonna be a
There
lot
you
of
go, that's the
people.
10,000.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts. It's all nuts. But some people like, the progressive into toxicity isn't really called out on the app. You know,
Mhm.
that's the problem. Nobody really gives a shit. So, what are you gonna do, right?
I'm sure I would be a great person to do that.
What's that? Get rid of it or call it out? Yeah, go for it. Be like, hey,
Call
guy,
it out.
they're gonna. Yeah, but if you did that, they would be like, oh, this is that guy who's
Exactly.
Islamophobic. It's like
Yeah,
all of a sudden
it's
now, like,
yeah.
it didn't matter what you did for like 7 months of like,
Boom.
and at the end of the day, like you were trying to bring awareness to like BLM and everything like that. Doesn't matter that you did any of that. The second you say something wrong, you're done. Like it doesn't matter. Your
Mhm.
track record's so irrelevant. And at least in the conservative base, people don't screw you that hard over that kind of shit. You know? Not that like
Yeah,
conservatives are like
the
amazing, but like, they're much more
but there's
forgiving.
internal cohesion,
Yeah,
There's
yeah. Yeah, because there's so many more progressives on the app, but you see like the
yeah.
conservative accounts are so like galvanized. Like it's like we love this person.
Mhm.
So, and even while progressives are kind of eating themselves alive at all this shit, one wrong move, man.
Mhm. Cancel ourselves. We'll cancel our own damn selves.
Yeah,
That's
no, yeah, honestly, because like I've had my share of issues, and like I'm generally seen by a lot of like political TikTok as like a very like midline type of person, even though like people say I'm more in line with social like conservatism.
mhm.
But I made there's a TikTok audio that was like, "Oh, pick me, massa," and it was a lot of black people use it to I'm just gonna say disagree with like conservative black people. And so I made a video that was like this audio is used to put down black people with different points of view, and like I got railed, but and I'm like in the middle. Luckily, I was able to have like a nice like a content creator called Blackbird come on my stream. We had a very nice conversation about like the interpretation of racism and blackness and people. It was really good. But like
Mhm.
even I'm uncancelable, and even I
Mhm.
got hate, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, man. I could say whatever you said. Nobody, I know nobody did care. I offended you on my alt account because my main account was all fucked, and nobody gave a shit. Probably because a lot of your fans have me blocked too.
Potentially. They
Yeah,
might have.
a lot of them have me blocked. Nobody gave a shit, man.
Well, or you just don't show up on our For You, like, you never showed up on my For You page.
That's fair too.
I
Yeah, that's true.
because the algorithm was like, these people definitely wouldn't fuck with each other.
It's true. It's true. Although
But here we are.
I
Fuck
would,
algorithm.
although you guys came up in my For You page, I had like what I wanted to talk about in my For You page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't follow anybody, so I didn't get all messed up. Once I started following
Mhm.
people back, that's when I started getting like my For You page all jumbled up.
Mhm.
Which I'm actually kind of happy about because now it's like less toxic, you know.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, even when I had a really bad take, I had a horrible take, and nobody called me on it, and I'm actually a little annoyed by it. But when I was talking to, the Denelli kid got pulled, he got banned. I made a point about how, like, one of the reasons that the acceptance rate in the LGBT community is going down is because of the toxicity in it. And I think that there's a level of truth to that, but like it was very much out of context the way I said it, because like there is like a declining rate in the acceptance of LGBT people, like among young kids. A lot of it's because of like a lot of like the middle ground genders, and people simply don't understand, and nobody's taking the time to explain it to them. But like the way I presented it, because that's a very sensitive thing to approach. But I presented it in like an angry way, because I was like annoyed because the kid was getting like raped, bent over, and this content creator Heartthrobbert was like pushing it in such a toxic way of like cancel, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop making the content," and they mass reported him, and he had his main account, alt account, and then every other account he made for a week would get banned after anywhere from like 5 hours to like 2 days. So, but nobody called me on it, and you think that they would have, because it was a rough take. Nobody gave a shit, man.
That is a rough take. I'm
it
glad
is.
we've identified.
You can. I'm not. I wouldn't take offense to it. It's a rough take. It's a tough thing, and it was a take I made out of anger, and I think that there's a level of truth to the toxicity and some of the gatekeeping in I'll say TikTok more than anything else, but you can make the argument about some of like the LGBT groups, and it's not just LGBT; it's like all identity groups, including white groups. So, like there's probably level of truth to it. But again, the way it came off was so aggressive. It's hard to like if we had a conversation about that, which we could. You don't have to. Then like this is the space to do that, because it's like okay, But when you're on TikTok, it's not about conversation on TikTok. It's about it's like your moment of glory every single video.
It's like performance.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like delivering truth with a performance in a way that is so, whatever your brand is. Like for me, it's like the sassy gay response to like some shit, right?
Right.
It's like with some big words, because everyone is like, oh, he's smart.
Yep. That was mine. Mine was like, what would you say? Mine was like really blunt.
Blunt, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like it was like it was rude, you're wrong, like fuck you and you're dumb, right? So that was that was the take. What a day. It feels like it was so long ago.
That feels like another lifetime.
It does. It was only a couple months ago, but I'm so happy it's over though. I couldn't imagine like the stress you're under when you're like, okay, I have to be a huge pile of shit right now. And you don't even think you're being a pile of shit. That's the crazy part until like afterwards, until reflection, like, oof, who was that guy?
I remember one of the first hate videos I saw of myself was on my own For You page. And it was when I hit like 100,000, and I still hadn't really like digested that my page was growing yet. But I was like, oh my God, I have 100,000. Like I thought that was fame at the time.
No, I understand. I thought like 20,000 was fame.
Yeah. And I was going through my For You page, and someone said, I'm so sick of that fucking twink with the crooked crop tops on my For You.
Oh my God. That's funny though.
Oh, it was hilarious. But I looked at it, I was like,
that's funny. Were you like offended back then?
No, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
That's funny. I really never got a lot of hate. When people would come out again. I think Cabby Katarina. Katharina. Oh, she's like a young.
Oh yes, Gabby. Yeah,
yep. Gabby. We're actually friends now. Like a couple like her and then a couple of other people came after me, but like I would clap really hard and like it was rude. So I never really got hate. People would just block me. But she's nice. I had a conversation with her on Tier. She's really great too. I'm friends with a lot of the progressives on TikTok now. It's totally chill.
All it takes is a conversation. When we learn to humanize each other, we realize we all have a lot of the same goals. We just have different ways to achieve those goals.
Oh yeah,
which is good. That is good inherently.
It's the people who
TikTok
won't
doesn't push that idea.
No, they don't. It's the people who won't sit down and have a conversation that bother the shit out of me. Yeah, that's the bigger problem, and that's like hard to get people to come on to here too. It'll be like, hey, do you want to talk about this? Like there are people who want to come on here, but there's some people like I'm interested in talking to. Like I'd be interested in talking to like the fat raccoon girl. That's her name, right? I'm not being
Jackie,
racist.
Yeah. No.
Okay, just making sure that was actually, she was nice. Again, that's just all the whole toxicity. I never reached out to her, but like those, those would be the nice conversations to have because it's like fun to reminisce about like all the hateful times. It's sad to me at least.
Oh, it's
Uh,
almost like you're at war. Our war battles with our followers.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
can
Who can
who can
shit
fill
on
each
each
other's
other?
comment section more?
Yeah, who can shit on each other the most? Those are the fucking days, man. So, well, actually, I feel like asking you I feel like asking you this question because it just popped up. You know Nick Foster jokes, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Nick Foster? I don't dislike the guy. The only reason I'm asking is because like he just popped into my mind, and I know he's like a big epicenter for a little bit of hatred for you guys. So, I'm wondering what you think about the guy.
If you would have asked me at another point in time, I would said something a lot more
Harsh.
crass and harsh, I think, than what I'm gonna say. I think he caters to his audience in the same way we do as progressives and delivers things that they want to hear. Um, I don't know. I think he's inflammatory. I think he
Oh
riles
yeah,
people up, and I think he's doesn't give a fuck how people feel by what he says.
yeah. No, for
Which
that's him. Yeah,
yeah, I don't find that to be I don't find those to be positive traits, and I think
sure.
it can really hurt people. Um,
I'll give him credit because like I actually like him on a personal level. Like we talk, he's a cool guy.
mhm,
Some of his content's a little crazy. I think that you were there for like the sexual assault jokes that he made. Um,
mhm,
what's interesting about it though is that there was just a point where like he for as a joke like stepped on the American flag. He was making like a joke when people were getting banned a lot. He's like, oh, I guess this is okay, and he stepped on the flag and people lost their shit, the conservatives, and he just kept doing it.
wow,
He's like, if you're gonna get triggered by this but you're not triggered when I make sexual assault jokes, like you're a problem. So he just kept doing
yeah,
it. And then he's actually the like one of the ones like he's making him like joke videos about it, but he's one of the ones calling out people who are like sexual predators on this app.
mm,
And then like not to bring it back to Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan's not, and it's like how did this happen? The guy who's trying to trigger people over being assaulted in their life, which is disgusting to me, is the one that's like honestly defending people now when it like really comes down to it. So like honestly, like you wouldn't think you
You
just
know, that
wouldn't.
reminds me, I was watching a YouTube video. It's like 12-minute clips or 6-minute clips, and it's beautiful cinematography. I don't remember what it's called right now, but there was one where it's like 2 people went on a date, and this guy is on the date, and he's making these jokes. He's like, something about a shadow being black, and it was like comparing it to black people or
Right, like a
something, and it was
racist jokes.
like making these jokes, and the girl's like, "That's racist. Like, you're disgusting. I'm leaving." And
Mhm.
so they start walking out of the thing, and the girl it gets approached by a black man. The black man just says, "Hey, excuse me," and she goes, "I don't have any money."
Oh
And he looked
yeah,
at her and
yep,
he's like, "I'm not homeless. I just wanted directions."
yeah.
And then the guy gave him the directions, and it was like this idea that your ideologies align exactly with like the jokes you make or like with the things you say,
Hmm.
but then someone else could be the woke Olympic person and have this internal bias against someone that
Oh
they
yeah.
proclaim to protect.
Well, yeah, I think part of it too, and I come from like that space where like I don't pull any punches. Like I'll talk about black issues even if it'll like in a way that might bother black people, or even like LGBT issues in the way it might bother LGBT people. But like I think that people tiptoeing around issues shows like that weird uncomfortability to engage with people from that community. When everything is like some kind of woke shit. Like for instance, for you, like you made a commentary that I don't necessarily disagree with. It was insensitive, but like you can't pull I felt like if you pulled your punch when it came to that, like those are the people who really don't try to engage in that community,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it turns out that like they're the ones that like they when it comes to the point where shit needs to begin to step up, they're just not there. It's nuts.
Yeah, and that was the thought and conversation in my head was like, I know I could PR myself out of this. I know I could fix it. I know I could lie and say that I don't think the things I think.
Mhm.
And it's to me, honesty and truth is like one of the core principles of how I operate my life. And it was like, okay, well, the only way to say this is just to say exactly what the fuck's in my brain.
Yeah.
And here, like just deliver. Like you want to cancel me like at least on what I actually think,
That's what I would have
you
done.
know.
I would have been like, "Fuck you, man." I would have been like, "No, screw you." Like honestly, like if you said it was Christians, man, you would have been the king of TikTok for a week.
Mhm.
You know, if it
I
was
would have hit 1,000,000 views with 300,000 likes.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep. You know, if you speak out against another group that's marginalized in the United States, and you're not even speaking out against a marginalized group in the United States, you're speaking out against like Middle Eastern cultures.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're a bad guy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nuance to it. I've done hours and hours, fucking so much research into this problem, and there's a lot, and it's too much for TikTok. It's
Oh
too
yeah.
much for TikTok. It's almost too much for one YouTube video, even for an hour-long YouTube video. Like, this shit is complex and
Hmm.
hard to talk about, and if I went back, I wouldn't have talked about it on TikTok probably at all
Yeah, it's
because
hard to.
it wasn't conducive, you
No.
know? But then at the same time, I had thousands of comments from people from Middle Eastern countries that were like, "Thank you, I can't say this,"
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
know?
I know
And
exactly what you're saying because when I did the whole commentary on like black conservatism and black gatekeeping, where like with the audio, I had a lot, and I wasn't expecting any positivity. I was just saying what I felt, and I'm sure the same with you. But there's like a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, man, like I'm part of that culture." And like I agree, and it sucks because if I speak up against it, I get canceled. You're
mhm.
considered like a traitor to your identity.
Well, they couldn't speak about it because 'cause they'd be put in jail.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like, there was no that's it.
Yeah, no, so like
Um,
you were just expressing like a truth and they're like, "Wow, thank God somebody said it."
yeah.
And then
Looking back, I would have clarified I'm not talking about individual people, which I tried to clarify, but it was too late.
yeah, no.
I wouldn't have spoken out of anger on my live. I would have been more reserved and tried to have a more intelligent conversation that was highlighting the government top-down bureaucratical institution of homophobia, um, while still highlighting that homophobia is definitely alive and well in the Quran, in the Bible, in
Oh,
the
oh
Torah, like
yeah. All of it.
in all of
It's
these things.
like all religions don't like gay. That's the point
Um,
I made. I said, "Listen, all religions hate gay people. Like
mhm.
get over it, man."
And you know what's insane? People are like, "You can't criticize an entire religion."
Like, yeah, I can.
It's like, do you remember why America fucking was founded?
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
are we forgetting what happens when you can't criticize a religion here? Are we
No,
just
right.
forgetting that?
It's
Like,
crazy.
that's
It's
fucking insane to me.
but like you had the perfect you said the perfect thing for people to be like, "Look at me.
Mhm.
I'm about to virtue signal for over this motherfucker."
I'm virtual signaling the fuck out of this guy.
Yeah, you got
But,
it happen. It
I mean,
shows.
it's over. I could come back and I would probably experience, like, a week of shit and then
Maybe.
be fine.
I wouldn't
Maybe a
just as
week.
just as a favor, I wouldn't endorse you because that's not going to help you.
Oh, that's okay. I think that's good. I think we can't have proximity off of here, okay?
Yeah, right. No, exactly. No, that's it's funny. You know, it's funny because even if we did have like some kind of like a dialogue on TikTok, nobody would understand it. Nobody can. You can't follow a story on TikTok because you just
No.
a video you posted last week could still be getting pushed more than a video you posted an hour ago, and so all of a sudden, like,
Mhm.
there's no context. Like, you could have like a really nice conversational piece with like 1 million views, and then like the response is like 5,000 views, and it's like nobody's gonna get the story out of this. It's crazy.
Until someone else gives you a high level of everything.
Yeah, right. It's
And
just
then
a
you don't even
mess.
get the views. Some other asshole does.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They'll just like duet it and stare at it. And yep, yep, yep. So, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea if you ever came back to do like a YouTube thing, man. Nothing wrong with that.
We'll see. We'll
So,
see one day.
yeah. So, um, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to talk about specifically that you had in mind.
I didn't have anything in my brain. I was kind of just hopping on and seeing what happened.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So, like, then I'll ask you that. Like, what were you expecting when I reached out to you?
I was kind of expecting I thought I was gonna be on a lot more defense until you asked me, "How have you been doing?" That
Oh, really?
then
I
when I
yeah.
saw that, I was like, "Oh, okay, so this isn't gonna be like a fight." I kinda thought it was gonna be like, so here's 2 things. I thought you might have validated your own Islamophobic beliefs
Oh.
using my words.
No, not at all, man.
I thought that was the chance you're gonna be like, "You're right, like, fuck Muslim
Yeah,
people," and
yeah,
I was
like
like,
you were
I
gonna
was
be like,
scared."
yeah, I get what you mean. Like I was gonna be like, look,
Yeah.
here's the one progressive that agrees with me. No, not
Yeah,
at
so
all.
that I thought that might happen, and then I also was a little nervous it was gonna be like, if it wasn't that, then I thought it was gonna be like, kind of back to when we first interacted on TikTok.
Mhm.
You're dumb, your thoughts are dumb kind of thing. But
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
I get that.
I feel like I could de-escalate a situation when we're actually talking.
Oh, so you
So
thought this was gonna be like a big ol' fight. Did you look at any of
maybe.
the other podcasts? There's no way you looked at any. I should have linked to one of the podcasts I've done because
No,
they're
I
all
didn't.
been very, very chill. Honestly, that's the whole my whole MO. But it's fun, you know. Good for you for being ready to have an argument. I guess you know you're ready to fight back against my perceived stupidity.
Well, I'm in a space now where I try to honor people's perspectives and just give mine and
Mm.
not try to change them. Just like, well, this is what I think, this is why I think it. Give them valid data to work with and then move on.
That's fair.
So,
I try to do that as well. You know, like I try to, of course TikTok is toxic, but when I'm on here specifically, it's much easier to have a nice like. Do you know who Tyler Bluntman is by any chance? He's like
mm-mm,
I think he's black or a Hispanic conservative. He's a nice guy. He's a little intense with the way he speaks, but like even on here, nice, respectful. We had a conversation about trans people. So he took the space of course disagreeing with like trans people. I took this I'm very validating of trans people. And like we had a nice conversation about like pronouns and like it got a little intense at one point because we weren't understanding each other. But like,
mm-hmm.
it's surprising like that people can have civil discourse on here. It was a nice thing. It was
Well,
nice.
because most of the time, we don't go around our day to day talking like we do in a clapback video.
No, not at
That's
all.
just not. It's not real life, and this is nice. This
Yeah,
kind of
it is.
dialogue and developing a relationship with someone and chatting and
It's
it's so
enjoyable.
much better to me.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
can,
enjoyable, honestly. And
yeah.
some people like it, man. Like, I have to get this up on like a real podcast. I just put them on YouTube. But some people are like, yeah, I just like to listen to you in the background. Just like nice conversation. They don't even have to watch us. They can play fucking World of Warcraft or something. And it's a fun thing to listen to for a lot of people. And it's a very enjoyable thing to talk about, which is something that's like dead. Like, you can't talk to people about differences of opinion. Yeah,
hmm
it's unfortunate.
For For a while on TikTok, I was trying to convince my followers to go talk to Trump supporters and just get to know them.
No way.
And so I would go on Omegle and find Trump supporters that had completely different ideas than me and just try to have the most calm, thoughtful conversation that I could to just show people like this is how you should be talking to people.
Right,
This is
yeah.
how we should treat other humans. And are going to get nowhere by saying "fuck you, you're an idiot." It's useless.
It's true, but there's a lot of young followers who are ready. That's their lingo is
hmm
fuck you. That's the fun of it.
Fuck you, I'm right, no matter
Yeah,
what.
I remember. It's so funny. Do you remember that liberal girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's where I was. I'm friends with her as well. I remember my first video. It was a joke video. I bounced off of her. She's like, "I hate it when people come out and other people say, 'Oh, we lost a good one,'" and I was like, "I wish we lost you." It just popped in my head because everybody was like, "Oh, kill yourself," this, that. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" I thought it was funny because like I don't take it personally, but it's like, woof. I thought it was
Yeah.
funny. I thought it was a funny joke, but me and her, we're on good terms. Actually, she left too, man. She actually left her political account because of the toxicity. It's
Mhm.
brutal. It's harsh. So she has like a personal account. I checked in with her the other day. She's doing well. Like she's having, better mental. It's incredible how this can really damage a person's mental health being on this app.
Mhm.
Again, I'm an older guy, and even like it's nothing that like kills me or shakes me that bad. But like if I was 5 years younger, 10 years younger, I could see it being really catastrophic because you get so caught up in like these weird TikTok like interactions. It's just
Mhm.
crazy. I feel bad for a lot of younger people on here. How old?
Yeah.
I sound like such a fucking boomer.
Yeah, I mean, even I consider myself very young, and I'm 21, I am very young, but I'm still compared to, like, a 16-year-old on the app, pretty mentally capable and agile, and I'm like, I feel bad even for the people that are younger than me that go through this shit, and it's like, if I were 15,
Hmm.
I'd be gone. If I went
Yeah.
through this when I was 15, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. No, I
I would be
totally. I.
I would have ended it.
Yo,
No
right?
questions
Yeah.
asked.
No, it's
No questions asked.
insane. It's so crazy because of the toxicity. And then also it's like a social media app where like you'll say something, or rather you'll put out like the best of yourself and you'll never put out the worst of yourself, and then young kids look at
Mhm.
it and they go, wow, my life is shit by association, and it's this whole fucking thing, you know.
Mhm.
So unfortunate.
You know, for me, I would always get all cute for my videos and shit. And I did that for a long time. I was like, let me get my crop top on, let me do my hair. I would put cologne on for whatever the fuck reason,
Just to feel yourself, it's the confidence,
just
it's
to
the
feel
confidence.
myself. And then I started posting videos where I was just like chilling in bed, just woke up, or like just my thought right as it came. And it was like no views. I was like,
Really,
damn.
really. That's for, you know what? Because like you have to know this. I didn't give a fuck. I think most of my videos were me shirtless.
Shirtless,
I
laying
had
down.
my hair. My hair is kind of okay now, but like my hair, I would actively shoot my hair up because I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm gonna look as bad as possible, and I think for me it worked because it's like the
Mhm.
Bernie Sanders effect, where like
Mhm.
Bernie Sanders is like, he regardless of his political beliefs, he's a really genuine guy, and part of it's because he looks like he just doesn't give a shit about his appearance. And like you see other political figures like Trump and Hillary Clinton who spend all this money on like hairstylists, and there's something fake about it. So like people look at it, it's like, that's like this fat, shitty, disheveled looking man. It's like, I trust what he's saying because he doesn't care about looking okay. Like he's just a genuine,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That worked for me. Luckily, because I don't do shit. I don't. I doesn't matter. I could look like, it doesn't matter what I look like ever. Part of it's
Mhm.
because I'm a guy too. So you know, male privilege. Am I right?
Yeah. You're right. Even in the gay community, it's like outside of videos, it's like if you look a little disheveled, it's like the straight guy thing, and everyone's like, "Oh,
What do they
that's
just?
hot."
Oh, they like it?
Yeah.
Really? That's so crazy. That's
At least I
interesting.
shouldn't say gay people. This is not a gay thing. This is what I've experienced with my
Okay,
gay
yeah, you got to be
friends.
careful because you
Is
might
there?
get canceled for saying
I'm gonna get
something.
recanceled. Dude, I
Recanceled.
already lose 100 followers on Instagram every time I post.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know. It's
That's
just still,
That's
I
bizarre.
don't know.
People just probably
And
see it and go, "Oh yeah, this guy." He
yeah,
said, "Oh my."
like this piece of shit.
People are so fucking full of themselves, man.
Yeah. But now I'm a little nervous. I'm applying to grad schools and I'm like, like I don't know if this is going to
Oh,
be
do you
something that
think? I don't. You know what? My honest advice would be just stay off the app for
Mhm.
yeah, because people will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna email his school."
Mhm.
Because like they gotta ruin your life now. Like, I don't know if you heard. You remember C Janover is her name?
Yeah, Claire, her and I are very close.
Yeah, I still don't particularly care for her, but even she should not have gotten canceled. And like
Mhm.
everybody in like the what would you call it, the conservative community was like, yeah, look at her. And like I made a video, again, didn't make any traction. I'm like, yo, you guys can't bitch, moan, and cry about getting canceled over insensitive jokes, and then once she makes one like and gets canceled, like you revel in it. It's like, no, she
Mhm.
made a dumb joke about like how like somebody gets still stab somebody and they're like, oh, this hurts. She's like, look at my paper cut. It was like it was an
Mhm.
analogy of Black Lives Matter, whatever, but it was a joke. You know, she wasn't going to stab anyone. They were like, yes, I love this. It's like, how can you love it? Like you're being part of the problem. Like you're trying to oppress like the oppressor. Like, in this situation, the one
Mhm.
only thing that like, the one of the only ways in which like conservatives are oppressed would be would be in the sense of like cancel culture. And the second that you're getting hit with a cancel culture, like you're gonna turn it around in a way. It's like you can't do that. Like this is when you have to be like, yeah, this is wrong. Honestly,
Mhm.
yeah, because it wasn't right that she lost. I think she lost an internship. Was that what happened? I don't know if you talked to her about that.
Full-time job. She lost a full-time job.
Oh yeah, and it was like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that
Yeah.
help? You know?
Well, her and I originally were supposed to go to the same job. We were supposed to both
Oh,
go work for Deloitte and Government Public Services.
very cool. What happened? Or did she get fired, or you just didn't work out?
They took her offer away, and I really thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I was like, I don't think I want to work for a company that is having this kind of reaction.
Yeah, I get that.
And
Like they're being so reactionary to fucking TikTok.
yeah,
It's so disgusting because you know what? The only what's gonna happen, like, there's already enough bullshit on the app, so that young girl is gonna be like, okay, I got canceled because of conservatives. That's what happened. In the same
Mhm.
way where like if a conservative gets canceled from a progressive, they'd have the same reaction. And it's like now she's just gonna hate conservative people more.
Well, not only that, but to this day, people are calling her cell phone still. To
Really?
today, calling her cell phone, making fake accounts of her dead mom,
She
and
Oh wow.
being like, "Fuck her from the grave," like, shit like that.
That's awful,
Like,
man.
insanity, and it's like,
That's terrible.
we are so far from the light on social
Yeah.
media right now.
Yep.
So far.
That's awful, man. That's terrible for her. That's fun. Do you still talk to her at all?
Mhm.
Oh, really? You on like a regular talk basis?
Yeah.
Don't let everybody
I
find
would say
out. They're gonna
we
cancel her.
talk once or twice a month right now. There was a
Oh.
time we were talking every day. It's slowed down since we've both stepped away from TikTok.
Oh, she stepped away too, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, good for her. Honestly.
I agree.
Good for her. If you talk to her, let her know that, like, I hope she's doing all right, and that it's
Absolutely.
fucked up that she got canceled over that. It's just such a shame, man. Trying to ruin people's lives over this shit. It's like
Mhm.
I get it. She was being divisive, but then like, no offense, but then those same people who were trying to cancel her over her divisiveness didn't do shit to me. So like let's be honest. Like let's be honest here. It's like you can't support me. At least back then, you
Mhm.
can't support me for like my divisive content back then, and then cancel her for her divisive content. It's
Mhm.
just not right.
At least keep the same energy. At least cancel everyone.
Yeah, go
You
after me,
know?
cancel
At least.
me. Nobody's even well. I guess people have kind of. Well, somebody did try. I'm not even gonna say their name because I don't associate myself with them. But that it didn't go well for them. They ended up deleting their
Mhm.
entire account for like a month, and they lost a
I
bunch
knew
of followers.
better than to try to come for you.
I was an asshole, huh?
I was like, "No, these Papa Gutters, they're fucking insane." I'm
They are insane.
I didn't have the same loyalty. I think people idolized me a little bit as, like, a gay spokesperson, but I don't think I had loyalty. And I'm like, "This guy, these people
Nah,
will
I got.
ride for him.
I
They'll ride
actually,
for him."
I have like in fantastically loyal followers. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like my understanding is on my Twitch. I don't have the view. I make like a good amount of money from these guys. They're fantastic. The amount of money I
Mhm.
make is comparable to accounts that are like 3 or 4 times bigger than mine because they are
Wow.
just so supportive. And like I average like 400 or 500 like viewers, but like they'll fucking ride or die, man. Uh, they're really
Well,
just
that's all credit to how you've built it.
yeah, which has been on toxicity. No, but you know what? The ones that the
Yeah, you piece of shit. That's
yeah,
why you have
right.
to no.
No, honestly, no. But the ones that like come into my chats and they watch the conversations and they engage on here, these are like all like well, some of them are young men and women, and some of them are not young men and women, but like they're the ones that are like here to have like conversations about shit. Like they're not.
Mhm,
I don't do like fart papa jokes. Like on
mhm,
here, it's mostly commentary on political and social issues, and it's very it's not like hyper conservatism. It's very more moderate, but not intentionally moderate, but like more
mhm,
educationally like moderate, like unbiased. And it's like they very people who like really like appreciate my perspective, not the people who are like, hey, can you make fun of trans people? It's like, well,
mhm,
okay, like it's boring now, you know.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, you've done it enough, asshole.
I did it a lot. A lot of gay jokes. Like some of my biggest videos were like gay jokes. Like I had like some gay painting joke. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I used to get really riled up about the gay jokes on TikTok. I would, like, duet them, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is fucking horrible. This is an example of, like, homophobia everywhere."
yeah.
And I think I'm much less like that now. It's
Yeah,
like,
well, you're
"Okay,
conditioned to
is this
give
a
a
poor
shit.
taste joke?" Like, yeah, it's a poor taste joke, but does it really does this action cause hurt on a macro level? Besides, like, individuals are gonna be hurt by it,
Yeah, for
and that's,
sure.
like, the choice people have made is to be okay with that. But I think more the question is this an issue that hurts the community's existence? I think
Right.
is more the metric I use now.
Well, yeah, people. Well, you're conditioned on that app to care about things that you normally wouldn't care about.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this is outrageous. It's like, well, is it though? Like,
Is it?
like on this app, if you call something gay as like a insult, which is like a problem in I think the LGBT community
Mhm.
of like internalized, I guess homophobia, whatever you'd call it, this idea that like being gay is associated with a negative thing. Like on TikTok, like you're done. But in real life, it's like, your dumbass uncle says, hey, that's gay. And it's like, you're annoying, but it's not that big of a deal. Because he
I
doesn't
don't even
mean
know
it.
if I'd say something.
Yeah, like he's not like he's just like it's my old uncle. Like
Mhm.
he's just kind of he's not that bad. You know what I mean? That's a normal. That's like the human interaction. It's like I'm a little offended. But what are you gonna do? It's not like he's
Or
bashing
in
gay
real
people.
life, like, in
Yeah,
real life, it's like, "Oh, that's just a dumb straight guy." You know, like, when
yeah,
I try
yeah.
to get my
No,
head, I'm just like,
because even I
"That's
do
just
stuff.
some jock, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he doesn't know what he means."
Yeah, yup.
It's like,
And even I do it on accident. I'm like, yeah, it's gay, and I'm like,
uh
I try to catch myself, but I'm like, oops. It's like I don't hate,
Mhm.
whatever. Like, yeah, TikTok though, you're done. You can't say that shit. Can't say anything.
Can't say shit.
Now actually I'm curious. What? So well, maybe you haven't seen a lot of my content, but like, what's the worst joke that you've seen? Like, have you actually seen my content, or is it like you saw my shit and you blocked it once I had toxic followers hitting you up?
I blocked you
Quick,
right
right?
when you called me out. I haven't
Oh
seen any
yeah.
of it. I watched I it was hard for me to watch that full video.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically
And
what it
then I
was,
was
but
like,
I know that I've called you out on a video.
I don't either. It was a few. It was like one, and then I blocked you, and then you're like, "Oh, he blocked me," and I was like,
I know.
it's just
I
like
did
kept
that
getting
to.
Papa gutted.
I know. If it makes you feel any better, Nick Foster. No, not Nick Foster. Excuse me, Nick Videos.
Yes,
I
Nick
called Nick
videos.
Videos out too. So if it makes you feel any better, I called
Oh
him out.
God.
He's not a bad guy, but I forget the specifics. But once I called him out once. He blocked me. I grew bigger than him. He unblocked me, added me to like, hey, what's up? And then I asked him a question about something like, hey, why are your duets off? And he blocked me again, and I dragged him. And then
Mm,
everybody went after him. Then he unblocked me. He's like, I was just kidding, bro. Because for me, in that space, I feel like especially in that political space, like come on, Nick, you can't do that. And you know what I mean, like that political
mhm.
commentary space. It's like
You can't
you
turn your
shut.
duets off on your
Yeah,
videos.
yeah, right. But you know what? That space was fucking awful. Thinking about it, we should have just stuck to the Charlie
Mhm.
D'Amelio space, honestly, because we were
I
all.
really
Yeah,
they're
thinking it.
so they're so mostly harmless. They just
Yeah,
dance and
they're just
everyone's
chilling.
hot, and it's like,
They're just trying
you
to.
know,
They're just trying to live off of nothing forever. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They're just trying to like
I
do.
respect it.
I do too. That's the American dream. No, it's the American dream now is to just get big on some fucking bullshit app and then like never work for the rest of your life. It's very toxic. It's
Uh,
awful. Um, it's really awful. It's really not a good thing to be, conditioning kids in. But thinking about it now, like the commentators are gone for the most part. Like you're gone, like you said, CJ Hanover's gone. Like Joe Rope's huge, whatever. I'm still there, but like it's not as intense because like the anger is not really there. I don't think Fat Raccoon makes these types of videos anymore. She's just chilling, doing her thing. Um, it's a stressful space.
yeah, I think it blew up. I think we blew
Yeah,
up, and then
yeah,
we internally blew up.
yeah. Oh my god, we blew the fuck up, man. We were both small and we both exploded. And like, if you
Mhm.
hadn't gotten canceled over bullshit, you would have probably been a mil plus too, honestly. Um, But like don't come back though. Like not not in a bad way.
Yeah,
Don't come back. I don't want to make you feel like you should come back because you should do your thing. Don't get CJN
I'm
over.
waiting. I'm really waiting, and if I feel a need or a call to produce content again, then I will.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't wanna do it unless I get the same excitement I did in the beginning,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
It's not. If you do come back, it might be something worth exploring. Making just a brand new account as like a
Mhm.
new guy talking about new shit. That's just like fun. Because like there's some accounts that don't ever duet. Like, do you know Desmond Fambrini? Sorry.
Mm.
You know who they are? Oh, it's just like a non-binary. I think they go by all pronouns. I'm still struggling with properly, Um, but they just answer questions on all their videos, and like now they have like 800K. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you never know what's gonna hit, man. You know?
Mhm.
You know, you're better off just. But if you're gonna do it in a way that's good for your mental health, rather than just
Yeah. I
fucking.
think going back to that old platform, I think the old platform's dead. I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's tarnished and time to move on from it.
And there's negativity associated with it, I'm sure, for you.
Mhm.
So I totally get that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't even open the bitch.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all, honestly. Oh man, it's crazy. It's nice to reminisce. So,
It is.
so if you had anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything you can. But if not, it is a real pleasure having you on. Honestly,
Yeah, I'm good. It was great talking to you too.
yeah.
You know, if you ever do wanna throw up a spar about a social issue,
I was about to say,
I'd be happy to come
if you
on.
have something that
Yeah.
you ever wanted to talk about, maybe we could figure out a topic to argue about or something. Or really, I do conversations. I don't do like debates because I feel like debates
Yeah.
exist for you to like. You like everybody knows that something about something, and but you have to make sure you cherry
Mhm.
pick your evidence and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit. I like nice
Yeah.
conversations. So, you know, if you ever come up with something, maybe I'll if I'm intelligent enough, or rather I'm educated enough on the topic, I'd love to have a conversation about it. Um, I know that you're very educated on like Islamic stuff. Look at me producing it. Maybe we could talk about that one day. That could be interesting. Could educate me on.
That could be interesting.
So maybe in the near future that would be great. Yeah, but
I'll let you know, you let me know. Thank
yeah,
you a lot for having me on. This
I
was a
appreciate you
great,
coming on, and
great
I
conversation.
appreciate you coming on, even though you thought this was gonna be a fucking train wreck. I appreciate the balls that you got. You know, so honestly, so thank you so much for coming on, man. Have a good one.
You have a great night.
Take care. I want to say thank you so much, guys, to all my Patreons, and a special shout out to my Papa XL Patreons. Without all you guys, I would just be some fat dude screaming into a microphone. So thank you so much, guys. Mwah. I love you all. I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.